Hey, what's going on today, guys? Welcome back here to TLK Outdoors. Today we're going to go ahead and break down the equipment you need to be using when searching for trout, for stocked rainbow trout, or just any trout in particular, guys. So if you're new to trout fishing or just wanting to get into it, just getting started, this is going to be your complete how-to guide, what equipment you should be using to that first fish catch and everything in between. But before we dive in here, guys, go ahead and do me a favor, hit that subscribe button down there below so you guys don't miss any future content like the one you're about to see right now. Alright guys, so the first thing you're going to want to do, obviously, is head out to your local outdoor shop, guys. We're here at Kentucky Lake Outdoors here in Western Kentucky, just on the outskirts of Benton, guys. We're going to go in here and we're just going to pick up, our terminal tackle to start out with. So the first thing you're going to want to do, guys, you're going to want to head over here to your rod and reel section. You see, any outdoor shop you go into, guys, you're going to be flooded. I mean, absolutely flooded with rods and reels. Don't get overwhelmed. You're going to want to go small. Any of the real long poles, real thick poles, you're going to want to stay away from that when you're trout fishing. You're just going to want to go small and go simple, guys. Anything from, we got your lose section here. These guys here, all out good combo to use. Also, make sure to check out the GX2 Ugly Stick series from Walmart or any tackle shop that carries that brand, as well as the Shakespeare Micro series or anything from Daiwa or Shimano in the smaller series, guys. Those are going to be your best go-to beginner rods and reels. Let's go ahead and pull one out here. You can see here, guys, you got, a basic 6-foot rod, 6-foot setup here, guys. Comes with a great reel to start out with, guys. I think this is a size 20 or size 25 reel. Just an all-out great starting point, guys. I'm actually going to be upgrading my wife's equipment today on this video while we're doing this how-to, guys. So let's go ahead and get into line, guys. All right, guys, so when we're talking fishing line for trout, monofilament's a good good starting point, but my recommendation, if you're not wanting to worry about tying on leaders, just go straight for the fluorocarbon, guys. As you can see here, we have a pretty substantial section of fluorocarbon line. Once again, don't let that deter you, don't let that overwhelm you, guys. Start out small and basic. Seaguar Basics, excellent starting point. Excellent bang for your buck. You get 200 yards of line for 10 bucks. Can't beat it. I suggest going with the 6-pound to start out with, guys, because if you're new to the sport, you're going to get hung up. You're going to lose equipment. It's just the nature of the beast. 6-pound line, that's going to allow you to retrieve some of that equipment that you may get hung up in some rocks, some trees. You tighten that drag down, you pull back on that line, you should be able to retrieve some of that gear without losing too much of it, guys. Let's go ahead and get into this terminal tackle, guys. So if you're an angler that likes to use live bait, or if you want to try your hand with some Berkeley power bait or some dough bait, for that matter, size 8 Aberdeen hooks, guys. That's your best starting point right there. Not too big, not too small. Fish, they're gonna hook themselves, get Get a real good hook set on these hooks, guys. Best starting point there is. Now, what about split shots, guys? You're gonna need some weight to get that bait down, right? Once again, go small. You don't want to go, you know, too big like this, because when you're trout fishing, you always want to be able to add more weight if need be. If you add too much right at the start, you put something like this on, you're not going to be able to take that out of the way without taking away all your weight, guys. So what I recommend, you know, get yourself some small split shots, guys. Little BB split shots. I think these are size B's. Yeah, these are size B for BB. Usually I recommend something that is a reusable split shot. And they have that opening on the other end. You can squeeze down on it, take that split shot off, and reuse it. Actually, I think they have some 3/0s right here. Oh yeah, these are just a little bit bigger than the BBs, guys, but these are reusable split shots. As you can see, you got your opening on the one end, and then on the other end, I don't know if you can see through the package here, but they have the opening that you could actually pinch down on your pliers and remove that BB if you want to. So we have our rod, we have our reel, we have our hooks, and we have our weights, guys. All right, guys, so you got home and you got your rod and reel set up that you just recently purchased for your first ever trout trip. You got your line. So you know, let's just say for sake's purposes here, you guys have never spooled up a spinning rod reel combo before. We're gonna go ahead and go over that real quick. Neat little trick I learned from a couple friends of mine on the actual proper way of taking your fluorocarbon line, monofilament line if you're using mono. What you want to do, guys, is when you're spooling up a spinning reel, you're going to want to take the line, guys, rather than a lot of people when they spool these reels up, they will take the line and come from over the top. With a spinning reel, guys, you actually want to flip this over and feed that line coming from underneath. I don't know how that makes a difference, but believe me when I tell you from personal experience, it does, guys. It makes a huge difference. So what you're going to do is you're going to pull some line out to start with, because you're going to want to feed this down your eyelets. All right? So you're going to take your rod. You're going to start from the top. All right, so you got your line run through all the eyelets on your fishing rod. And next thing you're going to want to do is you're actually going to want to tie your line to your spool. So what I do is I actually remove the spool itself from the reel. And what I do, guys, I do a very simple, basic overhand loop knot. So what I do is I make a pretty substantial loop just to give myself some room to work with. I'll take it over the line, come around. You see I got another loop there. I'll take that loop that I made, I'll pull it through that second loop, and I'll just cinch it tight like that, guys. That's all I do. And then you got your tag end here, and you're actually going to want to clip that off. So then what you're left with is you got your loop here. So now you're going to take your main line, you're going to run it through that loop, guys, right? So now you've got your main line run through the loop, and then what I do is I will fold it over in half, bring it back through, and what that does, guys, is that gives you something to bite onto that reel with, or that spool. So I'll take that and I'll tighten all of that down, and you kind of see how that makes Kind of looks like an arrow, right? You tighten that up. You'll put that back on your reel. Open your bail first. That is important, because when you close that bail down, you're going to be ready to actually spool this line up on your reel. You won't be able to do that if the line's on the inside, or I mean the outside of the bail, guys. All right, so then you'll close your bail, and then you'll either have somebody grab a pen, straw, something around, and you'll just stick it through both holes here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and spool this up real quick, guys. I'm going to have my wife hold this for me, spool it up, and I'll get back with you on the next step, guys. All right, guys, so we got our spool reattached to our reel here. So let's go ahead and get a knot tied on this hook and get fishing. So here's our pack of hooks that we got from the bait shop. I'm just going to reach in here. We're going to grab ourselves a hook. Ourselves a hook out there. Close our package back up. All you're going to do, I always like to start away from the barb of the hook and actually go toward the barb. So you take your line, you'll go through the eye of the hook. Give yourself a little bit of room to work with here. And all I do, guys, is I'll take my hook, hold it between my thumb and my index finger, and I'll take the tag end of the line that just went through the eye, and I'll wrap it around the main leader, or the main line, 6 to 8 times, guys. And then all you do is you'll go back through that loop that you created right there. See that loop right there? You go right back through that loop, guys. Take that line, you'll pull it down some. And then usually what I do, what you want to do at this point, you want to wet the line so it doesn't burn while you're cinching it down. So I either use saliva, or if I have water, I'll use water. I'm just going to use a little saliva. And then all you're going to do, you're going to take that, grab your hook, grab your line, cinch it down, guys, and that's it. You got a good strong knot there. Perfect for beginners. Take your tag end, clip that tag end off, and there you go, guys. You're ready to fish. With the split shots, we're going to wait until we get down to the creek to assess the water, just to see how much weight we're actually going to need. So we're not going to add a split shot just yet. And then all you're going to do, most of your rods have a hook keeper. This one's got it at the end. Put your hook on the hook keeper, reel up, and then this is a perfect opportunity to go ahead and kind of preset your drag. I just kind of take the line, pull out a little bit. It's a little loose, so we'll tighten it down a click or two. There we go. That's it, guys. Let's go ahead and go over some of the different baits that you should be using as a beginner trout fisherman here, guys. Have not hit the bait shop yet. They are closed right now, but I'm going to go over what I have here in front of me. Obviously, first and foremost, guys, if you're a new trout fisherman, this stuff right here comes in handy. Berkeley power bait. Dough baits in general, guys, tend to do really well for trout. Power bait, your go-to colors are always going to be, I call them the cream of the crop. You got your chartreuse green, you got your yellow, you got your orange, and then you got your rainbow colored power bait, guys. You can see that's multiple different colors there. I mean, very effective bait. Can't go wrong with it, guys. My go-to baits have always been the NRV baits, guys, since I was introduced to them. This is an older box here, but doesn't stop me from using it. These guys here are called creek bugs, guys. Very, very easy to use, very simple to use, and I'll actually highlight these bugs here in a little bit on this video. My go-to is always the black, the pink, and the yellow, guys. Those three colors there always seem to be my go-to colors when it comes to using the creek bugs. Paired up with a trout magnet float, a little cork float. Killer combination, guys, and we'll go over on how to use these here in a little bit when we get down to the creek. Another favorite bait of mine by NRV Baits are these little guys right here. These guys are called speckled pups. As you can see, they got 4 great colors. I've actually got one rigged up on a 1/32 ounce ball head jig, which is my next point I wanted to get to, guys, on actually how to rig these baits up. You may remember we got the hooks, the size 8 hooks, and the split shots from the tackle shop earlier. Well, those there are going to come in handy if you're using these dough baits, guys. Now, if you're using the artificials, you're going to want either a 1/32 ounce or a 1/64 ounce ball head jig. And reason being, guys, is you don't want to do anything heavier, because if you're trying to drift these below one of these bobbers, anything heavier than a 1/32 will tend to actually pull one of these little trout bobbers down into the water column, and you'll lose your strike indicator. So you want to try and keep it as light as possible. You can always add an extra little split shot if you need that, but we'll go over that here in a little bit when we get down to the creek later on. But these 4 colors here, guys, the pink and the yellow especially, are always knockout colors. They work great, and I'll show you how to fish these here in a little bit. But that's pretty much it, guys. Very, very simple. When we hit the bait shop in the morning, I'm going to pick up some live bait, and I'm even going to show you guys how to use some salmon eggs, guys. And how to drift around some salmon eggs. Another very, very effective bait to use when fishing for stock trout, guys. So without further ado, time to hit the creek. Let's go. All right, we just made it down here to the creek, guys. Now it's time to get on some fish. So as you recall, we didn't put any split shots on the line, only because we wanted to check water conditions. As you can see, we have a coming out of the pipe over here. We are at the Wolf Creek hatchery. This is called Hatchery Creek. This is a man-made creek. And what you have here is you have a good current coming out of that pipe right there, and then it slows down right in here. So I think we're only going to need one of those split shots to start out with, guys. So when you're fishing these calmer waters, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to grab out the split shot. Make sure you got a pair of pliers. You don't want to use your teeth for this.
Don't use your teeth for that. It's not a want, it's a don't.
You heard the boss. Don't do it. Anyway, what you're going to do is about 4 or 5 inches up from the hook to start with. You're going to take that split shot, put it on the line, take your pliers, and take it, pinch it closed. Just like that. I'm going to hand this rod off to my wife, and she's going to show us how she rigs up power bait, guys. All right, so what she does here is she's going to go in, she's going to get a little pinch, and she's going to form this into a ball, guys. This is a new color that we picked up at the bait shop. And then she'll just push that onto the hook. She'll mold that onto the hook a little bit, just to kind of make sure it stays on. And that's it, guys. All right, guys, so after we get that hook baited up, she's going to cast out here. All you're going to do, guys, is just kind of let this bounce across the bottom here, and with any luck we'll get a fish to pick it up and we'll have a fish on. Now while she's soaking that power bait, guys, I'm going to show you the other baits I wanted to showcase here on this how-to video, and just show you how easy it is to use these. And that's these NRV baits, guys. And with this water being stained, do keep this in mind when you have a stained water. And it looks like Leanne just got stripped off, so she did have a bite. When you have these stained waters like this, you always want to start with a bright color, guys. Clear waters, you can get away with some darker colors, and real dirty water, you want to go a dark color. But these stained green waters like this, go with something like your pinks or your yellows. I'm going to go ahead and start out with pink. And all you have to do to rig this up, guys, is you just take the head of this creek bug, your jig head, just run that bug up until the last section of the body there, poke that out just like that. You'll run that up onto the jig head like so, and that's what it looks like, guys. And that'll just bounce around in the water column like so. And what we'll do here, we'll come down below Leanne here, and I usually start out with about a 3-foot leader, and I'll adjust as so. This water is a little bit on the deep side, and I'll just bounce this bug down the creek here, and you just wait for that bobber to go down. And Leanne has got a fish on the power bait, guys, that quick, that easy, guys. Got a good 9-10 inch stalker rainbow here. Just spit the hook. She'll go ahead and put him on the stringer, guys, and that quick we got our first fish on. And we got a bite right there, guys. What you're looking for is that bobber to go down. Just like that, you got a bobber down, and that quick, guys. Got a fish on that pink NRV Baits Creek bug. And the reason for utilizing these jigs, guys, is I'm actually going to let this fish go. And because of that, you can see where that jig head is hooked, right in the roof of that mouth. I can just pop that hook off like so and let that fish go, guys, and that fish will swim around and be happy and healthy. So we'll go ahead and see if we can pick one more up off the creek bug, guys, and then I'm going to switch over to another bait that's really easy to use and show you how to utilize it. Just like that, guys. Very next cast, got another fish on. This is actually a better fish, so we'll go ahead and we'll put this guy on the stringer. This is a good 12-13 inch rainbow. There you go, guys. We'll throw him on the stringer, and as soon as I get him on there, we'll get back with you and I'll showcase another bait you guys can use. All right, guys, so this new bait I'm gonna showcase for you here. It's not really a new bait, but they work, and that's live worms, guys, live night crawlers. And the nice thing about this, with this jig head setup, is you can still utilize this jig head and take yourself a night crawler, guys, and you just pinch. There's a ring right here on the head. You just pinch right behind that ring. Pinch yourself off a piece of night crawler. And all you got to do, guys, just take that crawler, rig it up on that jig head, and that's it. Just run it up there like that. We'll take this over here to the creek, bomb this into the creek. And you let that float around down there. And these fish are hungry for worms, guys. It won't take no time to have a fish on. Leanne's got another one on the power bait. Is that a good fish?
Yes or no?
No, it's a fish wrapped around the stick. She picked up a stick with a fish. That's the new definition of stick fish, guys.
It may help. Never mind.
There you go. We'll go ahead, we'll send this guy back. He's a little on the small side. Now what she did here, guys, while we were off camera, she actually caught another fish that had swallowed that hook. So she rigged up to a jig head as well. And that's another way that you can actually utilize the power bait, guys, is you could float that up underneath a bobber with a jig head, and that weight on that jig head will keep that power bait floating around in the water column, and you can actually do catch and release with power bait with a jig head. So just keep that in mind. That's another technique you can utilize. Very effective, works very well, as you've seen there. There we go, guys. Just like that. Got another fish on. This guy's on the small side here, so we'll go ahead and let him go. But we'll show you this here. So utilizing that jig head technique, guys, you can see just right in the corner of his mouth. We can just pop that hook out, and that fish is ready to go back, happy and healthy. All right, so that's 3 quick and simple baits, guys. We're gonna go ahead and get into the 4th and final bait to utilize as a beginner. You can use spinners, guys. I didn't cover spinners, but I'm not really a big fan of spinners for beginners, only because of spinners do have the tendency of creating line twists, guys. If you're not careful with it, you can end up getting a bad bird's nest in your line. So we'll actually cover spinners in another video, so just keep that in mind. I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for not covering spinners on this how-to video, but that's why. But yeah, let's go ahead and set up this final bait here and get back with you. All right, so to utilize this next bait, guys, I went ahead and I rigged up to that size 8 Aberdeen hook that we showed from the tackle shop. And this next bait is salmon eggs, guys. What I have here is Potski balls of fire, and all you're going to do is you're going to open your jar up here. This is a brand new jar, and it's sealed on there pretty good. Open your jar up, guys, and you see they're just little salmon eggs. And what I like to do, I'll start out with 2 of them on these Aberdeen hooks. Very simple to rig up. What you'll do is you'll take that first egg, stick that first egg on the hook. You'll run it up the shank of the hook, guys, and what I do is I will actually just run it up to the eye, let the eye of the hook hold that. Now I'll take the second one and run it on the hook right below that first one. And what that does, that just makes it look like a cluster of fish eggs floating down the stream, guys, and the trout go nuts for it. Trout absolutely go nuts for this. we'll do is we'll take this, chuck this out here in the waterway like so. And you do want to make sure you have a split shot on there so those eggs actually do sink down to the bottom. There's a bite right there, and we got a fish on, guys, that quick. It's just a little guy, so we'll throw him back. But as you can see, guys, get him to calm down here a little bit. This guy's real wiry. There you go, guys, little tiny rainbow, but that quick on them salmon eggs. We're hooked up. We got him in the corner of the mouth, so we take that guy, chuck him back, let him go grow up a little bit. So that's it, guys. That's everything you need to know to get yourself started with trout fishing. I hope you guys like this video. I hope this video was helpful, and hope you guys get out there and catch some trout, guys. Go ahead and look us up on Facebook as well, and just show some pictures, show some of the catches that you guys get. Without further ado, guys, I just want to remind you all to always stay safe, keep them lines tight,
And always enjoy them great outdoors.
yes sir.